Hey guys, it's C with Coin Traders. It's Friday the 23rd around 11 o'clock a.m. and we're going to do a rundown of some analysis of some of the charts of the coins. And we'll start off with Bitcoin. It is trading in this little spot that a lot of people on Twitter and stock twits are claiming $5,000 it's headed to. So let's get to it and see where we actually are and where we may be headed. As of right now, we're trading at 8,569. So give or take 8,700 is right up on this channel, this blue line channel, as you can see right here. And if it can break this 8,700, give or take, then we could go test this red line channel around the 9,000 mark. So we could get a nice little squeeze up to the 9,000 and then chop a little bit in here. We are looking at the hour chart. If I scroll in, also notice this. I've been pointing it out for the last few days now. We are creating this this kind of cup and handle, inverted head and shoulders pattern. We do need to hold this level that we are at right now, in my opinion. I have seen inverted head and shoulders play out when they're lower, but I do like the right shoulder to be above the left shoulder. In my experience in the past, I see them play out a lot more powerful. And in my opinion, they are true inverted head and shoulders. We are also creating this cup and handle pattern, and this is on a lot of the other cryptos. So, what we want to see is it to kind of blast from here. So, if it can do that, then we could look at a nice move back up to channel high around the 10.5 to 10.6. Maybe it puts a little tail out here. And if it can break that, then we could look at the 11. But I think for now, those are the upper level targets that we need to concentrate our focus on. It definitely needs to get over this red line channel and then eventually this 9.2, this 9,166 to 9,180, give or take. So as of right now, people are looking for this to come down further. As you can see, we're getting a squeeze on this candle. Not sure if it's going to hold. The MACD is crossing over here on the hourly chart, so maybe we could get just a little pop down and then blast up to this red line channel, at least here, which would give all the cryptos a little boost for the day, as it's been kind of choppy selling off. But we're also in this channel range, which also could be considered a bull flag. So from the low, it broke out, and maybe we get another leg up. Or if it wants to come down, then this first level where it just bounced off of this morning, this 8,300 level, needs to fail, and then it could retest the 8,000 and possibly the lower. If it does want to come this low, it still could possibly make a smaller inverted head and shoulders. But this $7,670 level that held right here would have to hold, and it could be a third time retest of support, which is 1, 2. Usually the second breaks down a little bit, and then 3. So if it can hold this, if it just wants to chop and create a bigger handle low, then it possibly could do that. If it really wants to break down, then we're looking at lower levels. Excuse my ads. We're looking at lower levels of 8,000 to 7,600, and then it could come and test this main channel around the $6,859. I don't really see that happening as it could, as we're still in this downtrend channel overall. So we do have to keep that in perspective. And we definitely, the Bulls want to see it break this red line channel around the 8,988 to 9,000 level, and start to trade over that 9,000 level again, as we are just chopping around in this downtrend channel. So we'll see where it plays out today. Generally, Fridays are pretty bullish. They have been in the past, but that's not to say things could change up on a dime. But we did hit some support, so we just got to see how this support level plays out. I've been looking at this support level as a lot of the other crypto coins are currently creating some bullish looking scenarios. So let's look at ETH. This has been a weak link in. Hold on, real quick. Let me just scroll this over to get to ETH, and then I'll put it back so you can see the. Here's ETH. It is holding this downtrend channel support, as you can see. It keeps popping out. It did have trouble a little while ago trying to break up into this channel. It's kind of just hovering on the bottom of the channel, so it really hasn't made a powerful move as to a lot of the other cryptos, even Bitcoin making a nice move. This has been kind of the weak link, and you could say it's kind of making a left shoulder head and a right shoulder. So if it does want to break this neckline that I draw right here, it could be, a small head and shoulders pattern, which, we'll have to watch in some of the other cryptos that could potentially break it down. So we have to keep our eye on that. Bulls definitely want to see it get above some of these other levels. Let me just erase this so we can get a clearer picture as of right now. So if the 511 to 500 go, you're definitely going to look at a retest of this 449, and and then we'll have to actually come back to the charts and see where it may be headed. As of right now, in a chart scenario. But right now, this 443 is the main upper trend line support. It almost tested that last week when we were hitting our lows. So, and then it bounced, but it's kind of just been chopping. So if this head and shoulders pattern doesn't play out, then it could just be in this choppy channel. Sorry for these ads, as I haven't wanted to pay. But anyhow, it could just be chopping and then a breakout higher. So we'll have to look to see what Bitcoin does, and just see if it'll generally pull up the ETH coin. So that's Ethereum. If it can break above, then this could actually break out over this yellow line channel that's scrolling right here. Let me just erase that real quick. This channel right here is kind of right there, and it kind of coincides with the retest of this high wick right here. So there would be two. So we could see a bigger move up here, since it's kind of holding this trend line. It could blast up here and then kind of like dilly dally and then pop up to the 650, definitely the 600 level. So we'll keep our eye on that. There is some resistance at the 600 level. When I scroll out, we could see it a little better. So this would be the first line it needs to break, that 585 to 590 level, and then we could go and test. Let me just grab this. We could go and test this line right here at the 600, 624. We'll probably hit some resistance around that level and then bounce. And then, if it could do that, then maybe we're forming, more of an uptrend channel from this low as of right now. And, and then we could see some bouncing patterns going on through ETH. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin is trading at 160, 178, so right around the 162 level. And as you can see, it too also is created this like inverse head and shoulders pattern. Um, and we need to see how this plays out. It was kind of breaking down in this channel that it broke out in recently, so we have to keep our eye on that. Bulls would like to see it stick around the 157 level. At the very least, the 150 level would keep an inverse headed shoulders on the table. I like I've said in past, I do like this right shoulder a little higher than the left shoulder. As you can see from this area, this is what we kind of would like to see. As of right now, if I scroll in, we might just get a temporary bounce, depending on what Bitcoin wants to do in the coming hours. So I've just kind of been playing this out a little bit. We are kind of breaking out slightly for day traders. So we're bulls need to see it get back above this 162.25 level, and eventually out of this this bullish consolidation channel to break up higher. There will be some resistance around this level if it could get back up to the 175 level, which we might hit the 175 if it could get up there and retest this channel breakout. If it breaks out of this channel, kind of like what it did here, broke out, retested this channel, and then hopefully we see some movement higher. We could also be in the midst of a very big move as this has been consolidating for some time in a bullish wedge, and we did get some volume at the lows right here. It didn't go all the way to the lows of this trend line, which is at 128, 129, and as of now, it's at 132. So if it does want to do a double test, it could break lower and do a double test before working its way higher. If it does, if this pattern does play out in a cup and handle, and we can get up to this neckline up here, this channel, this bigger channel consolidation top, we do need to break over that 180 to 182. If we could get past there, then we could look to test at the 190 and then eventually back up into the 200s and higher. I think once that this channel breaks and we start to move up, and the way this plays out, we could be looking at a move kind of like we got back in February here, where it broke out and then it just been consolidating. So if that could play out, that would be really nice for Litecoin holders, as I am a Litecoin holder, and I've just been accumulating anything that I get on dips little by little. Try to build it to a bigger position. If I see it back down at 100, if it does want to go back and we get a nice little sell-off in Bitcoin, then I will be looking to buy the lows, and I will do another video. This possibly could be the low, but you can't unjustify how cryptos trade. So, we're just kind of taking it day by day, but it has presented bullish patterns, and we are starting to break out over this little 62, like I said. So now we could kind of work our way up. We are on the hourly, so we'll have to see how this plays out. I am bullish on Litecoin, and I would like to see some nice breakout moves from this cup and handle / inverted head and shoulders. And I do like where it's bouncing from. So if this can keep some momentum where we are right now, we could definitely see the channel top of 180 maybe by weekend, to possibly the end of the day, the way these things move. So let's see. There was some news out on Litecoin this past evening about LightPay, so this could definitely bring it up. I know there's some conventions this weekend, and some other events that are taking place. So we'll have to see how this plays out. As of right now, we're getting a nice little bounce from the late hour sell off. So we'll see how this plays out. I am bullish. I do think we move higher from here. So as of right now, we definitely need to get past some of these levels I've described and not work lower. The only thing the Bears have going for them is if this wants to continue lower, it does kind of look like this bearish pattern where there's a left, a head, and a right, and it kind of does a double test. So if this 175, if this plays out like the 175, it does not get past that 175, then it could do something similar to this move right here. So what we'll do is we'll draw a trend line like this, okay? And if this can get past the 175, then I will be more bullish, as this one bounced just like right here, it bounced. And if it goes up here to the 175, like this went up to the 191 and then fails, then we could see, a move similar to this right here. That was a 2-day, 19-hour move for a 20% decline. So if it wants to do something similar to that move, then we could be looking at, depending where this is, a 2-day move. Here, let me just zoom out a little bit. Real quick. That's what I was trying to do. We could be looking at, if it gets to the 175, then we could be looking at another 20% decline, which would almost coincide with, actually be a little bigger, depending where this plays out. But, a 21% smaller correction that would be similar to that could play out. So we definitely have to watch it. We definitely need to break that 175 if this takes us up here. We definitely need to break that channel of the 168, get to the 175, and see where we go from there. Just be cautious at that level, as people could take profits once again, and that could also put in like a double top formation with a sell-off right back to the line, which also could kind of coincide with a double bottom. So let's keep our eyes open for that in Litecoin. And if that happens, then a lot of the other altcoins are going to do similar things. Let's check XRP. I did say yesterday that 62 needs to hold. As you can see my arrows, it did hold this 62 level for now, and it is putting the same type of patterns in. There's the shoulder, there's the head, there's another shoulder, and we're looking for a blast off. There really is not too much levels of resistance other than this 71, 72. If it gets past that 71, 72, then you could see a nice 10-cent swing up to the 80 and eventually get back in that upper channel, which would be a good bullish sign. If it does want to break down, then we could go and test the 53 for a double bottom, or even, like I've said in other videos, we could come and test around the 25-cent level. That's if everything stays in a downtrend channel and breaks out. We are hovering still around the bottom of this consolidation flag in Ripple. So if we could stay in this consolidation flag from that breakout back in, let me look when this was real quick. I believe it was in February. I just want to give you a better date. Yeah, it was back in February 11th when we broke out of the main. There was a channel trend line right here. Let me just draw it so you understand what I'm talking about. There was a main. This was the main consolidation from the highs back then. We are in the hourly, so it's kind of scaled in. We broke out. We've just been in this consolidation mode for some time now, almost a month and a half. So if we could get back up to this channel. This was the main upper channel, and kind of get back up in there, travel sideways, maybe even create a bull flag in there. That would be great for Ripple, and then we could work our way to the $1.09 level, $1.10 level, and then the $1.25 level. So those are the levels. I don't have the Fibonacci's on this chart right now, as I'm just kind of going over a market recap with some of these just to see where they may play out. Let's go to the next one real quick. I kind of want to get this in so I can check out some of the other ones. Let's do Bitcoin Cash real quick. As you can see, let me scroll in because you can't see right there. We are in the upper channel right now. We just got a nice pop. We are above this big trend line that I drew because we've hit it so many times. This is an important level around the 1,000 mark. So we just popped back over the 1,000 mark, and now we got to see if we can break out of this this bullish channel consolidation flag from the lows, which is a second. We could drop back down depending on what this is Bitcoin Cash 1 hour, and it's trading at $1,010 right now. Bulls do want to see a breakout above. It is coming into resistance. Let me scroll in so we can get a better view. Sorry about that. I always do that. See how we're in this consolidation phase right now. We broke out of the channel, came back up, retested, failed, and we've kind of just been working our way lower, making higher lows and lower lows. So as of right now, bulls need it to get out of this channel. We are hitting some resistance right here at the 1018. It looks like it hit it. It's kind of pulling back right now. Bulls need to see it get out of here and work its way back up to this $1,070 level, and then work its way higher up to some other resistance levels. Bears want to see it fall back down to retest this 893 to the lows of 846 and 800. So we'll see how this plays out. Those are levels to watch in the coming hours, as this is the hourly. MACD has just kind of turned up. So we'll see if it can push on this Friday afternoon and get up and maybe retest some of these other levels of resistance. Generally, the $1,070. That's where bulls want to see it to retest and get a double test of the highs there to see if it can work up higher. Let's look at some other ones. Let's see another one that people want to see. Let's look at quantum, as this is kind of in a big flag. We let me see. Excuse me real quick. I'm just going to tighten this up. This has been in a little consolidation flag, and it looks to be kind of breaking out of this consolidation flag right now. I was talking about watching this level of $18. It did break below it. It's popped back above. Some of these channels are a little distorted, so let me just fix it real quick. So this could be kind of the channels that it's working at right now. So it could be looking to go lower. It needs to break out of this flag, just a lot of the others, just like Bitcoin. It's waiting. It's waiting like the others are for a move. It did have some news, traveled sideways. It's traveling. It's trading at $18.53. It had that Binance news where it went to the US dollar, so that's why it broke out so hard. Not only with Bitcoin, but some of the other stuff that's going on. So if you're a quantum holder, you want to see it get past this from a technical perspective, get back above that 19, and definitely over that $20 range. If it can travel up over that $20 range, and get back into this channel, then we could be looking at higher prices. It was making kind of this flag, so now we just need to see a move a little bit higher, break out of this, kind of retest and break its way up. For quantum, it's just in a holding pattern as of now, kind of indecisive at the moment. Could go either way. It could come down lower in the channel, or it could work its way up. But you definitely want to see it get above this 1890 level, and definitely $20 level to work its way. Let's do Neo. Um, Neo broke down just like a lot of the others. It made this little shoulder head pattern, head and shoulder. Here's one. Here's the head, kind of a little shoulder, and then broke a little neckline. So it looks to be going lower as of right now. But like all the others, it is making this inverse head and shoulders. It is lower than I'd like, but we just got a nice bounce. If I zoom in around this level, which is kind of a good sign. So if it can break up from here, then we could see higher prices. Obviously, in the very near future, it definitely needs to get past this level of 67.50, and then it could work its way up higher to the 72. It'll have some resistance. So if it could break that 70, if it could break this 67, 72, 75, and then work its way up, that could be a good little set for Neo. Bulls don't want to see it break this 62 level or go lower from this bounce right here, else it could go as low as double bottom around the $48 level and then work its way lower, as we are still in an overall bearish trend. We did break out of this bearish trend, so it could come down lower and retest the low. There's also support at the $26 level, which was a way back when support, so that could play out to the bearish side. I am rooting for Neo to the bullish side, as I think it's been definitely subjected to downside movement for a while now, and we do need to start to see a little bullish run, even if it's temporary. We should get back up to the $95 level, which was where it really started to sell back when, and it actually has been selling for a while. It actually broke out of this trend around 125, broke as far as to the 150, and then has just been on a decline ever since. So this inverse head and shoulders would be a big key for it to make higher moves. So we're watching this. We are kind of taking some positions. We did get some volume on that low around the 44. So we'll have to see where these levels want to play out. I do think if this little inverse head and shoulders plays out, we will see the $85 move if it can break out resistance of the 79. So those are levels to watch. And Neo, let's just do another one. I am going to do, I want to do ADAs. I'm a holder in ADA, as you know from other videos. I have posted pictures of the inverse head and shoulders, and for people not to miss it, but it is getting a little lower than I like. So if this level holds, it could play out. It could go as low as this retest right here of 16 to 17 cents, and it still could play out. It also is making this cup and handle, this cup right here. So if this cup plays out, you know, we could be looking at, if I did the math, let's say from 12 cents to 22 cents, let's just say 10 cents. So if we could break above this 22 cents, we could be looking at 30 cents to 30, 32 to 34 cents in the near term. If this resistance breaks from this channel, so this could, it could be a nice move to 34 cents fairly quick on either news or something other. But we did break out of this long-term downtrend channel from the lows. This was the retest level at 13 cents, 13, 14 cents, and it actually went almost to support floor from way back when, which I was trying to get. I was hoping it went down there. But anyhow, I got a lot right in here under the 14 cents, and we're just kind of riding it out. So if it goes back down, then we'll add to the position. But if this inverse head and shoulders plays out, it definitely could get to the 34 cents. Definitely 30 cents, which would come up to this resistance level right here. And 34 cents to 35 cents would be some resistance up here, which if I did the math, that would be where it would head from this bullish pattern. So what we don't want to see is this neckline around the 16, 17 cents break down and then it fall back into this channel, because then it kind of could go into a spiral down to, way down to definitely the retest of 9 cents. And if it broke down, we could extend this down channel. Let me just extend it down to kind of get a perspective. I mean, you're looking at pennies, 5 cents. So if it falls back down on some bearish Bitcoin news or a sell-off, then we could see really lower prices. And I'm hoping that it doesn't do that, but we have to keep all this into perspective and interplay. I did say lock some gains in, and we took some off the top when we saw this channel neckline breach the other day, and we bought back here. So we're just going to add to it if it goes lower. We're looking more for a long-term play, but I do see some volume coming in a little bit. So we'll see how this plays out right here. I would like to see this break out from these levels, maybe this weekend, maybe in the coming days. So that's kind of what we're playing for. But we need to hold this neckline and not fall back into the channel, else we could be looking at lower prices for ADA. So we'll have to keep that on heavy watch, as everything is in heavy watch from the levels that they are in right now. I'm also going to do IOTA. Just get a quick sense of where this is headed. It went up to that $1.50 range that I talked about, where there was resistance. Kind of put a second test up in that level from the 147, 148 level. And we're doing the same type of pattern in all these cryptos. So they're just in holding patterns. Kind of looks like inverse head and shoulders. So we need to pop over that line, and blast up. If it does get back over that 150 resistance, then we might stumble all the way up to the $2 level, and that could happen fairly quick. $1.30 to $1.50. So we might stumble on some resistance around the $1.70. I would have liked to seen this go a little lower, but let's see, $1 to $1.50. So if I did the math from the low $1.50 or $1 to $1.50, add on 50 cents from the $1.50, that would bring it right up to the resistance around $2. So we could see this break out and get us back over to $2 fairly quick. And everything's looking, just in a holding pattern, bullish in my opinion. Could we sell off? Of course, there's always that non-guarantee with cryptos, but that's what I am looking at. I'm looking if we break that $1.50 to go to $2 fairly quick. So look for IOTA on these dips right here to add to positions if you've already bought around the dollar like we have, and see higher prices in the very near future. And that's going to do it for me today, guys. check back with me after this weekend. I'm going to put another video out, just kind of give a market recap to see if these inverse head and shoulders are playing out, these cup and handle patterns that I'm looking for, if they're playing out and shooting up higher to some of these through these resistance levels that I've talked about on the video, and to some resistance levels that are up a little higher, like this $2 level on IOTA. So watch these levels that I've kind of shown you. I think the only one that's kind of just been chopping is that quantum QTUM that we took a look at, and everything else is kind of just in a bullish holding intermediate downward, chopping channels. So, but they're all in a bigger bullish pattern, but in an overall downtrend, if that makes sense to you guys. So we're looking for intermediate bullish patterns to play out in the near term. So watch that this afternoon, watch that tonight, and watch that this weekend. Watch the levels of support and all of them. Definitely in Bitcoin, the levels that we talked about. So we need to hold these levels that I'm kind of showing you as of right now and kind of push higher to retest those levels of high that we hit the other day. So look for that, and I do believe we're going to move higher in the very near future. So if you're holding, hold on, and look for us on the next video. Thanks, guys, for this market recap. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to build up our clientele. We're new on the board, but we've been doing this charting for 10 years with stocks and options, and our levels are pretty on point. So watch our levels and you will do well. All right, take care, guys. Thanks for the follow and the watch.
Double up 3 or 4 times, I ain't telling no lies, I just run it up. Never let a hard time humble us. Double up, I ain't telling no lies, I ain't telling no lies.